Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? My name is Rob Carmona, and welcome back to another episode of Rob the Mic. We got to jump into something really quick, y'all. It's really important, and it was brought to my attention, and it's not something that I normally pay attention to. So I figured we're going to start this episode off right away with jumping into this one thing. I have to thank every single person who has subscribed, shared, and done everything to put the podcast out there, talk about it with your friends, anything like that, because we're almost at 200 subs on this YouTube channel. And honestly, it's not something that I thought I would hit. And again, it's not something that I pay attention to. I don't go look at the analytics. I'm not a numbers person. I just put this stuff out there. Whether it's the podcast work, whether it's my automotive work or photography or anything like that, I put it out into the world and that's it. It's just something I want to do. It's things I want to share with you guys, right? So I'm not too concerned or really concerned at all with like numbers and analytics and how these things are doing and all this, because it's just something I want to do. It makes me happy, it makes me feel good. But it's also kind of cool when something like this starts to happen. And I had a buddy of mine that reached out and was like, yo, dude, this is where you're at. And I was like, that's crazy, because I never thought about that. And because again, it's not something that I look into. It's not something I really take into consideration. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. Whether you're here strictly for the podcast, whether you're here from the automotive stuff, and maybe this is your first episode and you're like, what the hell is this? What is he talking about? Why does he do car videos and all of a sudden he's like doing a podcast? Either way, welcome to each and every single person. Thank you guys so much. I love y'all. I appreciate the support and everything in between. And honestly, yesterday I went out to go get dinner with Albert and Yessie, and it was tight because he had told me that I had already hit 100 subscribers and he wanted us to go celebrate that. So we went out to dinner last night, celebrated that, and we start talking about plans I have for the future, things I'm trying to do, things I'm trying to work towards. And this was just like career based, not necessarily with regards to YouTube or to Instagram or anything like that. Just what are some things that I want to hit? What are some things that I want to do? Like creating these like milestone moments, right? Where things that I can recognize myself for saying, okay, I hit X amount of things. I've done X amount of things. I've taken X amount of pictures, posted X amount of videos, things like that. And I'm slowly trying to create these goals for myself because, like we've talked about before on the show, right now I think I'm in a period of change. I'm starting to shift up my focus. My career focus has definitely changed quite a bit. It's not that I've gone away from design, but I'm definitely, at least for the stuff that I'm putting out into the world, into public, it's definitely not design based. But of course, I still have my design work and I'm always accepting new clients. Right now, actually I lie. This week is a little bit tough because I'm trying to finish up some client work, but for the future, the next couple weeks, next month, definitely I'm opening up my books again. So if any of you guys have any design questions, you want some t-shirts done, you're looking to have some branding, you need some sort of consulting, maybe you don't know how to go about a certain situation or what you need to change your brand up or what you need just in any sort of, I guess, like social realm as well, reach out. I can do my best to help you guys in any way, shape, or form that I can from all the services that I offer and also the people who are connected with me too. Because if I can't offer you guys something or if I don't know something, I guarantee you that I know somebody who will have the answers. So feel free to reach out in any way. But that was some things that we were talking about last night. And it got me thinking, from everything, even with the stuff that's gone down in the last week, and it's kind of put me in a certain place and it led me to jumping onto today's topic. But before we get into today's topic, I want to talk about a couple of things last week that led me to come here, right? So on Friday, this is going to seem kind of random, but I promise it's got a point. On Friday, I actually watched Taylor Swift's concert on Disney Plus. It's not something I would have thought I would have watched, to be honest with you, but I ended up watching it. It was 3.5 hours. So it was very long. It didn't feel that long, which was kind of cool, right? Because I think whenever you watch something that's of that length and it feels that way, it's like, oh, dude, this is such a drag. But honestly, it wasn't that. And I was blown away at the showmanship and just the type of artist that she is, and that she was able to perform for such a long period of time, not lose energy, and just constantly feed off of the crowd and feed off of people. And the show that she has on Disney Plus right now is the show that she did in SoFi in LA. And granted, I know a lot of artists say it, a lot of people say it. It's a general thing, right? Like LA has a vibe. And she closed out her tour here. But it was really inspiring to watch her perform and watch her do things and see the power and like how she navigates it all, right? And I started to look at it and how I can apply that ethic to like my current and my future work, because seeing how far she's come and all that she's accomplished has definitely, like, it put me in a really deep thinking mind space. Like Friday night, I kind of, I wasn't going through it, but I just really fell into it. And I was like, damn, dude, like how, not how do I get to where she's at, but like, how can I shift and have this sort of mentality to just grind and push a certain way to where I can push my work and show people like this is what I do and that I'm not going to stop, right? Like the train's right here. If y'all want to jump on, come through, because we're heading in this direction. And for people who don't want to be there, it's cool. You don't have to get on. You can stay at the train station, you know? And I feel like that's how she's ran her career from the very beginning. She's always just kind of done her thing, gone through different phases, tried different kinds of music, done different types of things. But the people who rock with her have always been there. And granted, along the way, she's gained a lot of new fans. She's gained a lot of new people. And even for myself, like I'd say over the last couple of years, I've definitely gained an appreciation for her. But after seeing this concert and just understanding how much work, time, ethic, energy, all these things that she put into this show to be able to give these people exactly what they paid for and then some, that's phenomenal, y'all. Like, just imagine doing, like, performing, working, doing some sort of show 3.5 hours straight type of thing. And if you really think about it, it's longer than that, considering production and all the things that have to get moved and do all this stuff. Like, it really is longer. But for us, the way it got shown to us was 3.5 hours. You know, but you're probably looking for maybe even 5 hours of just straight up moving, working, going here, going there. Like, it's crazy. So again, I really started to think about it, and I'm like, all right, how do I do this? How do I take this like Taylor mentality and market myself in a way that everybody kind of sees what I'm doing and what I'm capable of doing? And it's this kind of thing that I have in my head. I'm trying to roll it out slowly. And I know on my personal Instagram, it's a little easier to see versus here on the podcast. And I know like on the podcast, I've definitely slowed down with like the whole reels and putting out certain things and doing that, because one, it is very time consuming. It's very, very time consuming to make reels, especially for these podcasts, like to go through, chop up, find certain pieces, do certain things, find the music, and also have to work with like copywriting and things like that. Cause that's a whole other, I guess, like mess in itself. But as much as I want to create, it's like I'm trying to do so many different things at the same time. So I feel like I'm pushing, pulling, and tugging on myself just in different ways to try and create different things to show you guys, because it's kind of how my head works. I have this very, like, I get fixated on things and I want to do them and I want to do the best that I can, you know? Like Yessie and I last night were having this conversation and she's like, you know, I feel like you do so much and you try to be the best at all those things. And I do, right? It's like there's that age old saying where it's like, how does it go? It's like something about like being the master of none, but like knowing all kinds of things. Like I don't know exactly how it goes. It's kind of a long thing. But I like to master everything that I do. I like to do so many different things. You know, I like to build, I like to make, I like to draw, I like to do different kinds of art with different mediums, and I like working on cars and taking pictures and videos, and it's overwhelming. So in my head, I'm trying to just kind of like organize all these pieces and put them in the right places. And my personal IG is where I've definitely been able to express myself and put my works and my efforts and my love into something tangible that I can show you guys. And I say tangible because at least for me, it's tangible. I'm going out and I'm shooting and I'm creating these videos, and these are things you guys can hold in your hand, whether it's like through social, whether it's through YouTube or anything like that. It's a something that you can hold on to and look at and watch and take in and internalize. So this whole exploration of where I've shifted my career has definitely helped me a lot. And again, taking Taylor's mentality into account, I need to keep pushing. I need to keep going. And I know for a lot of people probably listening and or watching, you guys are like, well, duh, it's the grind mentality, right? And it is to a certain extent, for sure, right? You grind and you push, you grind and you push. But I think there's a difference between trying to make it for other people versus trying to make it for yourself. And in turn, other people end up fucking with it and fucking with you. And that's where I'm at. Like, I'm not creating the content that I'm creating for everybody. It's simply for me. It's a very selfish thing. Again, just like this podcast is a very selfish thing. This is about me. It's about my life. But I take pieces and try and make certain things to generalize them so it can maybe help you guys out too. And with my work, that's even different. It's way, way different because again, it's super selfish. That's stuff that I love. It's things that I want to create that I will in turn share with you guys because it makes me happy. It makes me feel some sort of way. And I'm like, hey, you know what? This is it. This photo set is it. And I want to share it with you guys. Hey, this video is it. I want to share it with you guys. So I'm trying to push myself. I'm trying to push myself very hard. I'm trying to be proud of myself because I'm very hard on me. And I think a lot of us are, right? Like, we are all hard on ourselves. And I know for myself, the artists that surround me, we talk about this quite a bit. I have buddies who are in so many different fields, friends who do tattooing, photo, video, graphic design, illustration, things like that. And we all talk about the common thing we all share is like how hard we are on each other. But if we don't push ourselves, how are we going to reach the next level? How are we going to do something great? Right? So I have to ultimately be happy with who I am, with what I'm creating, what I'm doing. Because if I'm not, then it's like, what's it all for? That's the way I see it. Like, what's it all for? But I'm working somewhere. I'm trying to get somewhere where I can be happy. And I'd say right now, I'm pretty content. I'm moving along, but I'm happy with today at this exact moment, especially with my career. I'm happy. Am I still working towards getting where I need to go? Of course, every single day. But right now, at this moment in time, I am happy. I'm happy. I'm stoked. I love seeing the progress in myself because I'm getting to a point where I'm like, yo, like I can look in the mirror and tell myself, yo, I'm proud of you. Because I was in a very, very different place not too long ago where it was just very like doom. I'm looking in the fucking mirror and I'm like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? But I'm not there anymore. And do I have my moments? Of course. I'm not perfect. The fuck? I'm still trying to figure everything out. But I can say right now, at least at this point in time, that I'm stoked with where I'm at. And I'm stoked with where I'm going and the progress that I'm seeing. And it's cool. And again, for a lot of y'all, thank you. For those of you who rock with me from the beginning, for those of you who continue to rock with me, share my work, comment, do anything, whether it's this podcast or my personal stuff, anything like that. Like, I appreciate y'all because you don't have to do that. You don't have to do it. I got a buddy of mine, Lucas. He's always sharing my work. Always. And it blows my mind because he doesn't have to do that. But he's like, dude, I really fuck with your work and I want people to see it. I'm like, damn, dude, that's what's up. And people don't realize how important that type of shit is, right? Like, just to share it to your story, like, it takes a quick second. And it might not mean very much to you, but it means a lot to me as an artist because it's like, damn, you're over here pushing out my work. I'm not asking you to do that. You just, out of the kindness of your heart, you do that. Same thing with one of my buddies, Steven. Like, he does the same shit. He'll see my photo sets and boom, he'll share it out. I'm like, damn, like, you don't have to do that, bro. He's like, yeah, I do. And it's just all these type of people that I fuck with right now. Like, I got mad love for them because they go out of their way to do something like that. And I know it only takes a second, but again, those types of things is free. It doesn't cost you anything. And my homies are out here helping me because they want to see me make it. They want to see me push past this barrier where it's like all this bullshit because they're like, yo, no, 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 like look at this fool because he's a real one. So shouts to all of y'all again, whether it's support from the podcast, my personal stuff. Thank you guys, because it's because of y'all. That's why I can keep pushing through and keep moving and keep it going. Hopefully that I can reach a certain point and, you know, we can look back on stuff like this and I could talk about it with you guys like, damn, you remember back in the day when we were talking about all this, that, and the third, and look where we at. And I say we because it's collective. Like this is all of us, right? It's all of us. We're all moving on this journey together. Y'all go with me. Wherever the fuck I'm going, y'all going with me. It's that simple. Y'all don't have an option. Y'all stuck with me. So I appreciate y'all. I really do. And coming out from Friday and having that experience with Taylor, on Saturday, I went to go watch Deorro in LA, which for those of you guys who don't know, like he's a DJ within the EDM world, Latino DJ, and it's pretty cool because he mixes like just music that Latinos are familiar with, whether it's like mariachi, merengue, you know, things of the nature, and he'll mix it into like EDM music. So it's like, it's exciting to hear something like that because it's different, right? And I know for myself, having been in that whole scene for such a long time, like I started within electronic music probably around like 05, 06 out here in LA when it wasn't even what it was, right? Like it was the whole EDM scene wasn't even there. It wasn't a thing. Back then it was still breaking into warehouses and throwing underground parties and shit like that. Like that's what it was back then. But seeing something like this is amazing because I'm like, yo, this is us, man. Like when you go to a lot of these shows, not to make it like about this, but it's tight to see somebody within the Latino space break into that space, into that realm, and also introduce music that we are familiar with, right? Whether it's Chente, whether it's Always Crespo, like Selena, anything like that. You're expanding people's horizons. You're giving them more because they don't know what that is, right? And then you put them in a space like that. For example, on Saturday, I'm sure there were some people there who went to go see Deorro that maybe had no clue who he was. Or maybe that you had certain homies that took their friends with them. And they're like, just come, it's going to be a good time. And dude, sure enough, it was wild. But it was tight to see a DJ who just so happens to be Latino break into that space and make such a splash. And especially in my home, like where I'm from, like from LA, I take a lot of pride in where I'm from. And so it's cool. It's cool. It feels good. But the thing about Saturday is that I realized I need more experiences like that in my life. Like not just specifically going to shows or going to see DJs, but just things that bring me like the purest form of joy. And that just kind of leave me feeling full afterwards because it's what I need right now. It's what I'm searching for. It's what I yearn for. And I noticed that even just during the performance, I wasn't thinking about anything, y'all. Like I didn't care about about money. I didn't care about bills, like about the shit that's going on in my personal life, my family. I didn't think about anything. All I could think about was like how happy I was and that the people that I had with me that night, like, and how much I loved them. And then I would look to my left, look to my right, and that it was just good vibes, good people, good things, good experiences. And also, I mean, I've shared with you guys before, I love to dance. You put me in a situation in this music, I'm probably going to be moving. I'm going to wiggle my ass off. I'm out here to throw ass. That's what I came here for. So, and I don't have to be at a venue, right? We could be at the market, the jams come on, I'm throwing ass. Like, I'm getting it somehow. Some way, somehow, I'm getting it. But in a situation like that, again, I'm out here to get down. I came here to have a good time. But it was just the realization of the experience and how beautiful it was. And I'm like, man, I need this. I need this. I need all of this all the time. And I again, not like I didn't know that, but it's different when it hits you and that realization is so in your face that you don't have a choice but to just kind of sit there and be like, oh, all right, this is what's up. This is where I'm at. And that's what leads us to today's topic. And I guess the overarching idea is just the topic of experiences. And I was trying to think, as I do with most weeks, right? Like, how am I going to break this down? Because what I like to do is talk about these like vague general topics, but I try to get points together that can we can hone in on this together and figure it out. Talk about certain things, brush over certain things. Even if we might not dive super deep into them, I want to at least talk about certain things regarding these topics, right? So again, with experiences, I was like, what am I going to do? Like, how can you just talk about experiences, right? So I honed in on 5 points. And the 5 points, I'm going to touch on them. I'm going to hit them all really quick, and then we're going to dive into them individually. So the first one is personal growth and development. 2, enhancing your emotional well-being. 3, broadening your perspectives and empathy. 4, fostering creativity and innovation. And 5, creating meaningful connections. And all of these 5 points are all with regards to experiences, right? So the first one that we're going to jump into is on your personal growth and development, right? And how the importance of new experiences, how it can foster a different kind of personal growth that maybe you haven't experienced before, and how it can help you develop something really strong within yourself. And how, on top of that, trying new things can challenge the way you see things. It can open up and give you different perspective, which we talked about multiple times on the show, but it's important. It's so important, especially when you're on a seeking journey. I think some of us are in different places in our lives where we're in a seeking portion, right? And I know for myself, I'm in a seeking portion. I'm looking, I'm trying to find. I'm in my Indiana Jones era. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find shit. I'm trying to uncover the treasure in different parts of the world, which is myself. I am my own world, and I'm trying to uncover these things and find all these different pieces and move about, right? But I also want to stay happy at the same time. Sometimes I uncover things I don't really want to find, but I think that's part of the game too. And it helps you build a resilience. I think that's also really important too, because you don't realize how scary the journey, like the seeking journey in general, can be, right? It's just like I was talking about right now. Sometimes you go and you find things you didn't want to. You uncover, you turn a stone, and you're like, fuck, this was a booby trap, right? But it helps you become stronger. You realize things, you face things, and you can gain tooling along the way, right? Like for myself, especially in the last year, having gone to therapy, I've gained a lot of tooling. Doing self-work, following certain people that I look up to on YouTube, right? Looking at certain therapists and psychologists and things like that, and gaining more tooling, building my boxes, because I can also share that stuff with you guys. I can share it with homies, family, friends, anything like that. And through this, right, experiences, all of these things that you will come across, all these things that you will endure, it will help you in so many different ways. And also, I think the last part of this is really important. And it's how, on top of building resilience and all this, how it enhances your ability to change and your adaptability to situations. Because if you're so used to things going a certain way, you need something to kind of break that, to break the monotony. And it helps you, right? Because you need to kind of push and pull within life. I think you need to have like this sort of, how would you say, like a malleability to understand and have to move and shift. Because as people, things aren't linear. Life is not linear. The way you experience life is not linear. Plans are just plans. It's an idea. What do you do when things go wrong? And for myself, giving a brief example, it's like with my career, things have definitely not been linear. And I've had to adapt to situations and do and understand. And I wasn't ready for that. If you would have asked me after I graduated that, or if you would have told me this type of thing was going to happen, I'd be like, what the fuck? This is the instability I'm signing up for? This is a shit that's about to go down? Like, all right, well, fuck, I guess. Because I didn't know. And I know I've mentioned it before, but it's like when I was with 4WP, I woke up every day and I really did love that job. It was tight. I was in my industry. I got to work on stuff that I love. I went from one day having a job, or 1 minute having a job, to the next minute not having a job. So it's like, imagine having that all that stability and then having the rug pulled out from under you. Like, what do you do? Granted, you keep it pushing, you find other work, you do other things, but I ended up taking a path that was a little bit different. But it's also taught me a lot. It's taught me a lot about myself. It's helped me change my perspective. It's taught me resilience. And it's also taught me how adaptable I am too. That just because these things didn't work out, I'm able to kind of mold myself into this new person, this new situation to push myself through. So all of these experiences that I've either exposed myself to or put myself in, they've all helped me in some way, shape, or form. And especially on the personal growth side. Because I feel like I have grown a lot, quite a bit, like in the last year, if not a little bit more. But it's been a really intense one for multiple reasons, right? And granted, if you've been watching and or listening to the show for the last year, you know everything that's gone down. Personal struggles, you know, the amount of deaths, all this type of shit. So you know what's up. But again, all these things just, they help you. They help you to become a better person, to be a better version of yourself. And it's kind of giving into that and just kind of letting the wave wash over you, which again is something we always talk about because it's important. You got to let life wash over you. You got to let things wash over you because there's a reason for it. There's a reason why you're facing it. And again, right now, even though it might just be like, oh, you just went to go see a DJ, but wow, this fool's like all enlightened, you know, and I experienced some sort of enlightenment. Same thing with Friday with Taylor. Like, how can you experience that from just watching something on TV? I think when you're in a certain place in your life and you're trying to reach and pull and look and find and uncover, I think you're willing to look in the wildest of places that you wouldn't normally expect to see or experience or feel these types of things. And I know if my heart and my mind, if they weren't in that place, we'd be having a very different conversation right now. We probably wouldn't even be talking about all this shit for the podcast. But I knew it. I knew it right away. I was like, this is what I got to talk about. This is this week. Simple. I just got to make it simple, actually, because it's a very vague topic, right? Experiences. So how do we break it down? But we're doing our best right now, y'all. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in and for being a part of it. And on the next one, point 2, enhancing your emotional well-being, right? How engaging and getting yourself into these experiences that bring you joy, fulfillment, and how they just contribute to you feeling like a better person. They contribute to your wholeness. You feel complete because of these things. These people, they make you feel more of yourself, right? They have you spread this kind of happiness. And that's where I've been the last couple of days, right? It's just kind of spreading this love, spreading this kindness, this happiness, and talking about my experiences. Like, I've been talking about the Taylor concert nonstop. Deorro too. So it's like, these are good things and they feed for me. They feed me, right? And the people who I'm talking to this stuff about, I know they appreciate it as well. I'm not just out here talking to random ass people about it, but it's a part of it. But it's also, it's helping me to open up more. Because again, I was looking for perspective in places I never thought I'd find it. But things which I think people tend to not really think about or not really look into, but it's like, you want to look into certain activities that bring you this joy, right? Again, it doesn't have to be concerts, doesn't have to be anything like that, but you want to think about traveling, the perspective that can bring you, what that can give you, learning new skills, pursuing hobbies, things like that. Give yourself the time for that because there's a reason why you want to check it out. There's a reason why you want to do it. And even if you might have like a 9-to-5 job that makes certain things difficult, make the time to do so. Make the time to do so. If you want to travel, you want to go see the world, go do it. There's a reason why you have a calling to do so. Maybe you need the perspective. Maybe you need to experience a different culture. You need to experience new people, smiles, happiness, what it is to remove yourself from something that you're used to. Get yourself a little uncomfortable. That way you can kind of unlock a new part of yourself, right? But I think with right now, I'm trying my best to just constantly fulfill this part of me and contribute to my happiness, whether it's in my career, whether it's in my personal life, anything like that. I'm doing my best to be hyper aware of those things and just run towards them. Run towards them. Arms open, heart open, mind, soul, body, everything. Just give me whatever it is, like life. Just give it to me, please. Because, I'm asking you for it. I'm surrendering to it. Show me the perspective I need. Show me the love. Show me the life that I need. And it's been cool so far, but it's it's really heavy. It's really heavy. And maybe you don't think about it. Maybe you didn't even think about experiences this way, the way that we're talking about it right now. And I hope it is something new. I hope it's something you didn't really think about. And now it's something that you think about. And now every time you travel, every time you take on a new hobby, things like that, maybe you'll think about this. And you're like, oh shit, this is going to contribute to me feeling better. This is going to contribute to me being a better person. You know, for those of us who are really into cars, we feel like we do this. Like there's certain people who do it and there's certain people who do it, right? Cars and automotive, that whole world is a massive part of my life. It makes me feel complete. It might not be like that for everybody, and it's okay. It doesn't have to be. I don't think it should be. But for me, it makes me happy. It fulfills a part of me. And, you know, even again, with this new chapter I've taken on with like sharing the work and stuff with you guys, like on my personal Instagram and my YouTube and things like that, it makes me happy. It fulfills a different part because I get to share this stuff with you guys because I want to show you. I'm like, yo, you guys, look at this photo. Look at these photos. Look at this video. Like, how sick is this? Tight, you know, appreciate y'all. But that fulfills a different part of me. So again, it's just continuing and pushing and finding and searching. And like I said earlier, just in my Indiana Jones, I'm trying to find these things. I'm trying to unlock and find the treasure because I don't know where it's at. And I'm looking and I know I'm at a certain point in my life I need and want to find it, you know? And like we've been talking about for the third point, just because we've been touching on it a little bit, right? It's like broadening your perspectives and empathy with regards to experiences, and how opening yourself to new experiences broadens your perspective and enhances your empathy towards other people. You start to change up because you've experienced things. You've given yourself the opportunity to undergo and go through these things. Helps you be understanding. It helps you just kind of level down a little bit. Bring yourself to ground zero. So you can see people. You can see yourself a little clearer. And you're a little kinder, like not just to other people, even to yourself too. I think because we need to be kind to ourselves, we forget that. I think we focus so much on like, oh, kindness, love, all these things to push outward, but you need to push that inward too. Be kind to yourself. Talk kindly to yourself. Show yourself love. The same love you give other people, you have to be able to give it to yourself. Because if you can't give yourself love, respect, understanding, all these things, how are you going to give it to somebody else? That's literally impossible because you don't understand. You don't understand what it is to receive that. Right? But you have to give it to yourself. And also, with that being said, you know, this kind of touches back with the traveling from the previous point, right? But, you know, immersing yourself in different cultures, ideas, lifestyles, I think you become more understanding, more open-minded. And that's a part of it, right? Of broadening your perspective and gaining empathy and things like that. Because you need that worldview. And I'm not trying to tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do, whatever, but like, go experience shit, y'all. Like, go places, go see things, go try different food, talk to different people, like, put yourself in different situations. If you always go to the same bar, stop going to the same bar, go to a different one. Go shake somebody else's hand. If you're stuck in this routine, you're stuck in these places, pull yourself out of that, right? You like, let's say, like yesterday I went thrifting. I went to a thrift shop I'd never been to, in an area I'd never been to. So I was just like, what the fuck? Where am I at? What am I doing? Didn't really feel comfortable, but I wanted to do it. And as I was walking around, like, it was cool because there was like-minded people in there and we just got to talk. We started looking at certain pieces, you know, things like that. We started talking about thrifting in general. And I was like, oh, this was cool. This is cool. I'm glad I did it. And it's things like that, you know, kind of moving outside of your norm. It will help you. It will open you up a little bit. Fourth point, fostering creativity and innovation, right? Exposing yourself to diverse experiences and how that fuels creativity and innovation. It's important. I know for myself, I try to expose myself to different types of things, different types of, especially within cars, right? Like I like to expose myself to different types of culture within automotive because I can pull inspiration. I can pull different things from this, from that, from this, from that, and then kind of put it all together to show you guys a certain thing. I'm like, yo, this is tight. This is how I interpret this. but it opens me up. It broadens up my world a little bit for ways that I didn't think I would be able to open up before. And again, it's just constantly trying to find something to feed my soul, to feed my heart, to make me feel full. And it's the seek. It's the wanting to find that. And I think on top of that, I think when you're trying to draw and find inspiration, I think when you look in places that you didn't normally think you'd find it, that's where you end up finding it. And we're all looking for guidance. We're all looking for something to believe in. I think ultimately, if we can believe in ourselves and what we're capable of and what we can do, fuck, man, that can push you so far. But it comes back to experiences. You're going to open yourself up. You're going to try this out. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. Because you never know. You might meet different people who might help you to get further in where you're trying to go and what you're trying to do. Right? And at the same time, I think when you have these moments, it can help you lead to like really big breakthroughs. And I know for myself as a creative, I'm constantly looking for that, and I get stuck, right? You go into these like artist ruts and you're like, fuck, I don't know what I'm going to do. I've had clients that'll come to me and be like, hey, I want to do this branding. I want to do this, whatever it may be. And they're like, just run with it. And sometimes I hate that shit because I'm like, what do you mean just run with it? Like, just run with it. Do whatever you want. And I'm like, okay, this is ideal, right? I want someone to say, do whatever you want. But sometimes too much freedom and not knowing where to go is just kind of like being in a dark room. Like, I'm looking for the light and I can't find it. But there's also something really beautiful about that, like surrendering to that chaos. And it's like those unique moments that present challenges that will help you become a better person, a better artist, a better anything that you need. I feel like you can kind of fill in that blank, with whatever it is that you need in life. But it's kind of putting yourself in that dark room and just kind of trusting in the process and saying, okay, this is foreign. This is terrifying. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here, but it's going to put me somewhere. And I'm pretty sure wherever it's going to put me is exactly where I need to go. But from personal and professional, I really do think that experiencing various things in life, whether it's through traveling, whether it's through hobbies, anything like that, it's just going to help you to become a better version of yourself. And the fifth point is creating meaningful connections through experiences, right? Like, I think new experiences can help kind of give you a place to create meaningful connections with others, right? Whether it's through hobbies, whether things that you just share with different people, adventures, learning opportunities, whether it's like school or classes or something like that. It helps you strengthen. It helps you create new things. Like recently, I jumped into this experience to like just meet new people, whether it's like creatives or anything like that, but it's like like-minded people. And I would never think that I would do something like that because it's like, it was very ominous the way you join it, the way you go about it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? But opening myself up to that experience has been really fucking cool because I've gotten to meet some really rad people and have really awesome interactions. And I'm like, hey, this is really cool. And also I get to share those experiences with my homies and I can bring them along with me. So then they in turn get to experience that too. So it's like, I'm trying my best for myself to go through and push and find more meaningful connections because I need that right now in my life. It's not about making more friends and things like that. It's not what it's about. It's about strengthening the relationships with the people that I have, right? Like with my family, my mom, number one, keeping my relationship strong with her, making sure everything's good, communication's good. Why? Because she's the only family I got. Like, yeah, I got my grandma too. And, I have certain other people, like one of my tios that I really look up to and that I love a lot. But I don't have that sort of support with my entire family and that sort of love. So when I can hone in on these things and with these certain people, I got to strengthen that. I got to give them the time. I got to give them the energy, the love, all those things, because that matters. And I'm doing the same thing with my friendships. Because a lot of my friends, like I've said before, I don't see my friends as my family. The people that I really fuck with, They're like my brothers, my sisters. And that's how we introduce each other too. It's simple like that. So putting in more time, like with Albert and Yessie. Why? Because it's important. Because we're getting older. We're trying to do things. We're trying to build stuff together. Ultimately, if we end up having kids, we want to raise them together. You know what I mean? Like I want to have that faith. I want to have that understanding in the people around me. And I know they do too. It's the same thing with the people around me, that I'm just continuing to flourish and put time and love and energy, right? And fill those cups because they fill mine. And it's having more experiences with them and saying, hey, where are we going to go eat? Let's go try this new place. Hey, let's go to hit this new trail. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Trying to plan trips with them. Yo, let's do a weekend getaway to, wherever. Let's go to Utah. Let's go to Texas. Let's go to Colorado. Let's go to the Bay Area, like something. Because that's where I'm at in my head. It's not about making new friends. It's not about meeting new people. Granted, it's not that I'm not open to that shit. Of course, I love meeting new people. I love talking to people. Because again, it's like what we were just talking about. It expands your horizons. It expands your perspective. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to talk to. But it's about strengthening the ones that I got. Because the ones that I have right now, this is what I'm trying to carry with me until the day I die. I'm trying to carry this shit and these people with me forever. Because that's the type of love I have for them. It's just like, yo, this is a forever kind of love. That people forget that the relationships outside of romantics also last a lifetime, And I've had people that I met on some random shit, even like through school, that I never thought I'd really get super close to, that now I'm like, shit, they're my family. We talk every day. Like, for example, Albert, talk to that fool every day. I don't go a day without talking to him. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just not a thing. Same thing with Brianna. There isn't a day that goes by that I do not talk to her at least once. We always touch base. Always touch base. And like with Brianna, that was a really wild one because we met, we went to school together, went to art school together. Granted, trauma bonded too, because it's a very traumatic experience. But we met through a mutual friend, Rachel. And we were always looking out for Rachel. Like both of us had love and we always cared for her. But we had never met. And when she finally brought us together, I would have never thought that girl would play such an instrumental part in my life. But she did. And she is a very instrumental part of my life. She's very important to me. I love her so much. And I tell her all the time. We talk about this often. And it's like, because of that experience that Rachel offered to us for us to be together, chill. And I think that the time that we finally did, I think we were like cooking together. It was so tight. And if I would have said no to that experience, I would have never had that. I would have never come to find one of the closest people in my entire life that really does care about me as if I'm their blood. Like that she's my sister, I'm her brother, is real simple. That's it. There's no negating that. And even her husband, Marty, like he knows that shit too. I see him as my brother and he sees me as his brother. It's just, there's no way. Even when we first met, he's like, dude, I can't wait to meet your brother. And we've always carried that, and we carry and we nourish that relationship. It means a lot. Same thing with her kids. They see me as their uncle. And it's like, those are the things that I need to keep fostering. And we need to keep putting time into. So look at the people around you, look at the relationships, all that. See who needs watering and continue to water those. And if you have certain people that aren't necessarily filling your cup, that aren't necessarily good for you or giving you something in that way, not that it needs to be give and take, but I do think that there's some sort of medium, right? Put time into the ones that are putting time into you. And the ones that aren't, just kind of let it roll. And you know what? That's the advice for the week. That's going to be the advice for the week. Put time into people who put time into you. Water the plants that are watering yours. You know what I mean? Like the people who are helping water your garden, keep that shit moving because you're going to keep it doing for them too, right? Focus on that. Put time into the people who are putting time into you. That's what this shit's all about. And again, ultimately experiences. That's what all these things stand for. Put yourself in a position to experience beautiful things that bring you joy, that bring you happiness, that bring you hope. that will push you out of your comfort zone to make you uncomfortable, to become a better person, a better friend, a better brother, a better spouse, like anything like that. Put yourself in situations that can help you be better. If you don't constantly want to be better in aspects in your life, you're not even living. You're just wasting your time. We as people are meant for more. We each have our purpose. We each have our things. We have, all of that. I appreciate and I understand. But I also do think we're meant for more. To spread more love, to spread more happiness, to spread more joy, even at the basic bare levels. It's not about changing the world, being the next Gandhi type of shit, which I get it. There's a lot of people hell-bent on stuff like that. That's not what it's about. Strip it down, bare basics, spread good things, spread good, be that message. Be a beacon of light, right? But look, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope that you're able to take something from it. I hope it starts conversations. You can jump into things with the people around you, people you love, whether again, your spouse, your homies, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, tío, anybody, cousins. Talk about it. What are their thoughts on experiences? How important do they see them? And why or why not are they important? Things like that. Start it up. Start the conversations. Because the conversations don't start, how's it going to happen, right? But I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for the love, the shares, all the comments, all the everything that you guys do for me, because without y'all, it's not possible. I would just be over here talking to a camera and that's it. That's literally it. But because of y'all, I got people out there listening. We got a group of like-minded people who are all here to fuck with the same thing. And it's to push out love, to push out positivity, to help each and every single one of us. We can help each other to get to a better place in our lives, to be better people. And ultimately just kind of find that joy that we're all seeking, right? But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so, so much. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Whenever it is that you're listening to this, I hope you have a beautiful weekend. Take it easy, breezy. Go have a nice little cocktail. Go sip your coffee, read a book. Go listen to some music. Go for a drive down the coast, whatever you do. But nourish your soul. Feed your happiness. And I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I'll catch you on the next one.